Facts about application for consent for a skate and wheels park on this particular site that I'm sitting on at the lake grounds. 1. Application for consent does not have to be sought before planning permission as confirmed by several North Somerset Council officers. 2. On the 5th of March 2010, John Flanagan of North Somerset Council confirmed to Portishead Skate Park project, quote, "We would consider landlord's consent once a scheme is viable." Close quote. 3. Many North Somerset Council district councillors were wrongly told by Nigel Ashton prior to important decision making on the lake grounds location that Portishead Skate Park project should have applied for landlord's consent first. Some confirmed this in writing as a reason why they voted against. 4. Councillor Elfan at Rees had in fact given authorisation in writing for Portishead Skate Park project to proceed to a planning application on the lake grounds site, even though an application for consent was not a requirement at the time. Yet Councillor at Rees conveniently forgot this later. Fortunately, because of the evidence still in people's possession, he was written to by residents, reminding him of the facts. 5. Councillor Rayner Knight confirmed in writing to a local resident that she was led to believe consent was required before planning permission. This was an incorrect belief, yet she voted against the application on that basis. Rayner Knight claimed Nigel Ashton was the perpetrator of this false information. If only Nigel Ashton attended Portishead meetings, he could be held to account for this misinformation. 6. Martin O'Neill, North Somerset Council Property Strategy Manager, confirmed in writing on the 2nd of March 2010 to Lisa Stanley when she queried if landlord's consent should be applied for, quote, "Whilst you refer to requiring landlord's consent, technically the first issue which needs to be debated is whether the District Council supports the planning proposal." 7. To put all this evidence into perspective and once and for all counteract David Pasley's incorrect comment even as recently as in Portishead Town Council meeting, the North Somerset Council Delivery and Enforcement Service Manager Chris Nolan confirmed in writing to Richard Kent, Head of North Somerset Council's Development Management on the 14th of September 2010, and I quote, "The issue was raised by the leader and David Pasley when the application was reported to the North Area Committee, but it was agreed it was a separate matter to the grant of permission, brackets landlord's consent, close brackets." That leader was Nigel Ashton. So we had the leader of North Somerset Council telling North Somerset councillors prior to an important vote on the skate park that the skate park group should have gone for planning consent first. That is, application for consent. That was entirely false, as I have evidenced in the previous information. And finally, number 8. John Flanagan on the 21st of September 2010 reiterated to North Somerset Council officers, quote, "We did not consider the option of landlord's consent because it was a moot point until the decision of the planning committee had been made," close quote. Portishead Skate Park project did everything right, despite the defamatory accusations by David Pasley and Nigel Ashton at meetings and in the press towards the hard-working skate park committee that they did not act according to process. They had checked everything. To say that they had done something wrong and not achieved application for consent first before planning was misleading the people. So roll on to the 17th of May 2017. Town Council minutes record an email from North Somerset Council Executive Member Peter Bryant confirming, quote, that following a debate with Portishead District Councillors, it was decided a skate and wheels park in either the Lake Grounds or Kilkenny Fields would not bode well with current uses of the area and indeed would be in complete contrast to them. He goes on to say, consequently, we must refuse Portishead Town Council's request for a skate and wheels park to be sited at the Lake Grounds or Kilkenny Fields, but would recommend a more suitable location at Merlin Park, close quote. Funny that, because Merlin Park residents, as you'll see on a separate video, were promised in the planning that it would remain a small local facility and a larger central facility would be built elsewhere in the town. Peter Bryant told the media, quote, we all agree the Lake Grounds and Kilkenny Fields are delightful, serene, peaceful and genteel locations, giving an overall ambience that expands the feeling of old England, close quote. If you read David Pasley's letter to the planning officer on the 23rd of November 2009 and later the planning inspector regarding the Lake Grounds, you would get an entirely different impression of drug trafficking, drinking, violence, noise and graffiti. However, the police did not concur with David Pasley. They withdrew all objections after effective liaison with Portishead Skate Park project. How anybody could say that a skate park would not fit in to the current uses of this area is quite frankly astounding. I personally do not want to live in old England when cricket is the only pastime for residents. Portishead needs to move into the 21st century because if Weston, Clevedon and Nailsea can have skate parks, why can't Portishead? There really is no valid reason to refuse it. Whether you agree or disagree with the Lake Grounds, and people have a right to their opinion, we cannot please everyone all of the time. Sometimes our young people must come first, and the democratic planning must come first, which said that an overwhelming majority was in support of a skate park on this location.